Hi everybody, it's Miss Knutson, and we have clay. Yay! All right, clay! Because I am really excited about this project, actually, is I love the tactile, mushy, gushy. And when Tessa saw that I had bought like 50 pounds of clay, she was like, clay is make cupcakes out of clay, just like the artwork of Wayne Thiebaud. And they look delicious. The most delicious looking artwork we've seen in a long time. So what we're going to do is we're going to play with clay, and we're going to try to make the elements of a basic hand-built clay pinch pot. And we're also going to use skills to make coil pot out of clay. And with those two simple hand-building skills, we are going to make a cupcake out of clay. First thing is I gave Tessa a piece, and I've got a piece, and we've got two. I've split it up into two pieces. You really need to use a piece of clay that you can manage with your own hands. And of course, my hands are bigger than Tessa's hands, so she will manage a piece that's easier for her to manage. But once you get this clay and you start to work it, it will feel nicer and nicer in your hands. It won't feel slimy. And we also have pieces of raw canvas we're working on. Just having a nice scrap of raw canvas that you pick up at the hardware or maybe even at the fabric store is really nice. And so once you get your clay and you kind of whack it around a little bit, right? You're gonna get some of the air bubbles out and kind of make it nice and friendly to your hands. I'm gonna make a not perfect ball, but a nice feasible ball of clay. You have a nice ball of clay. It doesn't have to be perfectly round because you're going to work with it a lot. And you're going to take your thumbs and you're going to press down into your ball of clay. See, I made two little thumb marks. And then you're just gradually going to pinch around in a circle. Okay? And I like to kind of keep my fingers down here and my thumbs in the middle and just work it around.
That's how I learned how to make a pot.
Good. I'm glad you learned how to make it that way. It's not going to take very long to make what you feel like is a good bottom of a cupcake. I'm going to make this pinch pot until I feel like it's got a good kind of cupcake size. The cup of the cupcake. Very good. One thing that we know about cupcakes is that they have a very distinct shape as it kind of goes down and angles toward the bottom. So this is more like a bowl, and we want to try to make it look like a cupcake base. So I'm going to leave this just like this for a minute, and we'll get some different tools. Got my little pot here, and I want to make it look more like a cupcake bottom. But I do have tools that can help the bottom of my cupcake, the cup part of the cupcake, to look more like it comes from the liner. So what I'm going to do is I put my pinch pot down on the mat here so that it will have a little bit of a flat bottom. Okay, so it's a little flatter. It looks a little bit more like a cupcake than it did to begin with. And then I'm probably going to set it back down every once in a while just to remind it that it needs to be flat. Then I'm going to take this kabob skewer. Very, very complex tools. And I'm going to make a scalloped edge here. Okay. Tessa is having some basic clay troubleshooting issues. Okay, she's making a pinch pot and it got too wide and she's trying to narrow it back down. This is really normal, young artists. This is very normal. Okay, making a pinch pot, you think, oh yeah, no problem. It can be tricky, so please don't feel bad if you're having a hard time. You're doing exactly the right thing. You just fold it back in and kind of create the sides that you want it to have. And if you feel like your clay is getting dried out, you can always make some slip. Slip is not a perfect solution to everything, but it does help when the edges of your clay start to get sort of cracked and dry. So what slip is water, little bit of water. I mean, literally probably maybe 2-3 tablespoons of water. And then I'm going to take a hunk of my clay, maybe about this much, and put it in the water. Ta-da! And what you're going to end up with is some pieces of clay that are slimy enough to make like a gluey sort of clay texture on your fingers. Are slippery. That's what the name slip really helps you understand. Because just like if your skin feels dry and cracked, you put some nice slimy lotion on it, it's kind of like slimy lotion. But so my goal is to go around my pinch pot and make little ridges just like a cupcake liner. So I've got my pinch pot with some scallops made with my skewer, and I just pressed I didn't even use the pointy end at all, but the pointy end might come in handy for making sprinkles later. So what I have now is this beautiful little pinch pot with the ridges all around the sides. And this part, for now, is done. It's the bottom of the cupcake. So I'm going to put it off to the side. And I've got another whole kind of lump and a quarter of clay. Next thing I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to make a coil lid, or a coil pot, I should say, that will be the lid for my cupcake. So as you can see, I'm starting to make a little clay snake. How's it going, Tessa?
Fine.
All right. I took a small, maybe like a ping pong ball size of clay, and when you make a coil pot, you are basically creating a center you're creating a center that you will bend in on itself and make a coil, okay? So you want your coil for your cupcake lid to look realistic, like if it were icing. Boop, boop, just like little icing on the top. So we're going to start at the very tippy top of the cupcake, and I'm going to make it look a little bit loopy at the top, just like if it were icing coming out of a piping bag. And then I'm going to wrap this around and make a coil. Ta-da! So as I build my coil, when I get to the end of one coil piece and I want to attach another piece of coil, this is where the slip comes in handy again. So I'm going to do a technique that's called score and slip. And so when you score something, it's when you need this pointy edge of your tool. And you're going to make a little bit of a texture on your clay. You're going to kind of make some little notches and kind of texture it up a little bit. All right? And that's your score. You're going to score that. And you're also going to want to score the part of the coil that is going to kind of attach to it. And then you're going to get a little bit of the slip out of the bowl, a little bit of the slimy, and just put it on the edges, put it on the parts where are going to attach together, kind of like Velcro. And you'll put them together. Now this isn't a magic formula, okay? You still have to use your fingers and blend it in and everything. It will help attach those two pieces that weren't together in the first place. So there is my top so far, and I'm gonna have to keep going because it's not gonna fit in my cupcake yet. So I'm gonna make another snake and keep working on this lid. It kind of looks like icing, I hope. How's it coming, Tessa? Oh, good. She just started her little lid. Making a pinch pot can be tricky, especially for little fingers, and especially if you don't do it as often as, say, maybe an art teacher does. If you are working with a clay and it doesn't work right away, you know what's great about clay? And you can get your frustration out on it and start over. Okay, so I made 3 sections of coil to make my lid. Now I'm probably still going to do something to the inside because the inside is kind of flimsy. Some clay in there to kind of support it. So it'll sit right on here. Now I haven't decided yet if I want these 2 things to come apart or not. It doesn't matter to me. Once you're done with the cupcake bottom and the coil pot top to support it inside, and you know, get some slip and kind of make sure all the inside parts of the coil pot are secure, and then you can also do fun things on it. If you want to put a cherry on top, or if you want to do sprinkles or little dots all over, you can make it look like it is a yummy, decadent dessert. Wayne Thiebaud's artwork will give you some great ideas, especially once your creation has dried and you get to paint it. I'm going to leave this like this right now and make sure that Tessa finds success with her cupcake. And you guys can try this out for yourself and make sure to decorate it and do all sorts of fun colors on it once it's dry. Here's Tessa's cupcake. And she labored over this bottom part quite a bit, and she started over a few times. So you guys feel just fine. Yay! Cherry on top! Here, let me put it back down here for you. So you guys feel just fine with trying different things and beginning and starting over. Make sure you slip and score the cherry when you put it on top. So when you slip and score it, you're going to want to take your pointy end and make a little hash marks, little notches, and then you'll take a little bit of slip and stick it on top. I will say, when we defy gravity too much with a clay project, those little pieces are more likely to fall off. So your cherry stem, don't make it too crazy big unless you plan on doing a lot of super gluing later. I'm just putting little teeny balls of clay, like little sprinkles on top. Hi everybody, we are back. We are ready to paint our cupcakes. Yay! So when you use this type of clay, the clay that Tessa made her cupcake out of, when you use an air dry clay, it takes several days for the clay to dry all the way. But one reason that we made our cupcake with a pinch pot for the bottom and a coil pot for the top is that it's empty inside, and whether you choose to kind of keep it all together the way Tessa did, or if you want to figure out how to make it a box, that's totally up to you. It is great to speed up the drying process. If you make a cupcake and it's solid clay, it takes a lot longer to dry. Make the clay 1 week, and then 7 days later, 1 week later, we have a perfectly dry piece of clay art that we can paint with acrylic paint. So that's why we're in our aprons, because acrylic paint is not very kind to your clothes. It doesn't come out. Cover your dry, bone dry, completely dry cupcake with acrylic paint. So prepare your paint. Get a, what I like to use is a paper plate or a not very important plate, and cover it with some foil. It makes a great palette, and you can put your paints on it, and then you can blend the colors that you want. Just like making real icing. You take white icing and you blend the colors up. You can do this with paint too, okay? So let's get our paints ready to paint our cupcake. Once you have your paint all assembled and ready to go, you can start painting your cupcake. Now be really careful. Some of your little bits and pieces, if you haven't slipped and scored them perfectly, they might pop off. If they do, you can still paint, like if you put a cherry on top or a candle and it pops off, you can still paint it separate from the cupcake, let it dry, and even if you want to super glue or hot glue it, you can put it back on your cupcake later.
Lollipop, lollipop, oh, lolly, 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 lollipop, lollipop, oh, lolly, 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 lollipop, lollipop, oh, lolly, 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 lollipop. Boom, boom, boom. Lollipop, lollipop, oh, lolly, 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 lollipop, lollipop, oh, lolly, 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 lollipop, lollipop, oh, lolly, 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 lollipop. Boom, boom, boom. Call my baby lollipop, tell you why.
Tessa and I have finished painting our cupcakes. Tessa's looks so wonderful. It looks like the perfect birthday party cupcake with pink and that light blue mint green or teal and purple sprinkles with a cherry on top. Really cute. I hope that you enjoyed this project as much as we did. I just had such a good time painting all my little pistachios and making my little mocha buttercream icing. It was so fun for both the teacher and the student. I hope you guys have a great time experimenting with clay, learning how to mold it in your hands, and then painting it to the vivid and beautiful colors that Wayne Thiebaud used in his paintings as well. So give this project a try. Try it at home, try it with a class, and try to trick people into thinking you have a real beautiful cupcake sitting on your shelf. I hope you guys had a great time doing this one, and Tessa and I will see you guys really soon with a new lesson. Have a good one.
Art class, and today we are making cupcakes. Tessa finished hers in 2 seconds flat, and I finished mine in 2 seconds flat too. It's just fabulous. Oh my goodness. Your turn.